Hello, everyone. This is Glenn, and today we are behind the seams with our beautiful co-creator, Ros Gihan Williams. So we've been
Hello.
filming for a few weeks, and it's time for everyone to get to know Ros a little bit better. Ros
Uh,
is from England, and she's going to introduce herself. So off you go, Ros.
yeah, I'm from England. I'm in England. I was born in Sri Lanka 50 years ago. So I haven't quite owned being 50 yet, but I think it's time to just start owning stuff. So
You
that's
don't
it.
look 50.
I think. Thank you. So yeah, and I was born in Sri Lanka and I was abandoned on the street when I was a baby. I was 1 year old. So it was all a funny way to come into the world, I guess. And for myself, it's a bit of like, well, I don't actually know what happened to me in that first year of life. So I think a lot of my life up until now has been somewhat trying to come to terms with that, or coming to terms with the fact that I'm probably not going to know what happened in the first year of my life. And in some respects, do I need to know that there's adoption at the moment, which is like that you, particularly if you're transracially adopted or adopted nationally, is like that you can, when you're 18, you can have access to your birth family, you can meet them if you choose to and if they choose to. And with me that's not possible because there aren't the records there for my birth family because I was found. So yeah, it's there. I think the overarching thing is that you're gonna, when you meet your birth parents, that part of you is all going to be fixed and you're going to see that missing piece of the puzzle, and your life is going to be complete. I think that's a little bit of a fairy tale that maybe is being spun at the moment. And I did I did buy into that, I think, but I don't buy into it now because I kind of,
So
if I,
how did you get rescued? How did that happen? Who found you and who gave you this beautiful life and opportunity?
well, I was on the side of a road. I that had a box of belongings with me, and yeah, a lorry driver found me in the early hours of the morning.
Wow.
He drove by, saw me, stopped and picked me up, and he took me to a police station, the local police station, and then they took me to a hospital, which is kind of the baby ward of a hospital.
Okay.
So that's where I was, and because I was one, I mean, it wasn't that unusual for newborn baby abandoned in Sri Lanka or in that part of the world, and sadly it still isn't. But because I was 1 year old, my story made the papers, and my adopted mum and dad and Norman were my dad was working. My adopted dad was working in Sri Lanka at the time for the BBC, and my mum was with him, and she saw me in the paper. I call them my mum and dad, obviously, because they are my mum and
Of course.
dad. And
Oh, they
well,
have been your mom and dad.
exactly. So, and my mum saw me, and she just had this feeling that she needed to come and see me. I don't know if she had a plan in her head, or she. I'm pretty sure. Well, I know we must have had a soul contract that whenever this moment was going to happen, we would recognise each other, because she says she came to see me. I don't know if Dad was there, but she definitely was there. Um, I mean, she came within a day or so of seeing the article, and she said when she saw me, I put my hands up to sort of be picked up.
Oh,
No,
it's
as if
adorable.
yeah. She said as if I would go with her anywhere. So that was um the thing that bonded us, and obviously we recognised each other on a soul level, and that we were each other's people. So Yeah,
Amazing.
they put the adoption process pretty much into motion at that point. And yeah, I think 6 months later it all went through, and yeah.
Did you spend any of your childhood in Sri Lanka that you can remember, or when
Can't
did
really remember it, but
when did you go to the UK? How did that happen?
yeah, we came back. I think I was a year and a half old. Oh, yeah, not totally sure of the times, but I don't know if I can show you a photo quickly without it
Of course you can.
breaking the thing. Oh yeah, share screen. Yeah, sorry, go on.
You should be able to share. Let me know. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so there's me and my mum, Anne.
Make it big. Click on it.
Is it not big?
Oh, it's little.
Oh, it's big on my screen. That's a shame. Will that make it big? Oh yeah, is that it? Can you see that?
No,
Uh,
it's okay. Close this part and just go to your desktop. Click a different view on screen share.
Zoom. Yeah, sharing.
No, I'm only seeing the little three pictures.
Oh yeah. Oh, I think I know what I have to do. Okay.
Yeah, go for it. There's no time constraints here.
Share. There we go.
You good?
Okay, I made it big. Yep.
Excellent.
Yeah, screen. There we go. Share. So that's me. Is that big?
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's me, obviously, and my
So
mum.
cute.
Thank you.
Oh, your
I
mom's
walked up.
beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, she was. Yeah, yeah, she was born in China and then she grew up in Singapore for her childhood, and then came to the UK and then came to Sri Lanka. So
Wow.
yeah, she actually met my dad, Norman, when they were working at the BBC in Singapore, and they got together, and that was it. Yeah, it was all a bit complicated. He was married, but then they ended up getting together, and then he got his divorce, and then they got married on the same day that his divorce came through. Yeah. Bless him. Bless them. Yeah, and yeah, he I think they were happy together. They stayed the rest of their lives together. So
Beautiful. Look at you directing even at that age.
yeah. I
Oh,
like the way I've got my hand on.
thank you.
Yeah, and then
That's really special.
then
That's really, really special. Thank you for sharing that picture. That's just stunning.
thank you. No, there are others, but I'll just it's
So you
the
you had you
technology's
had an inroad
overwhelming me.
to film very young through the BBC, so you were involved in seeing all of the stuff throughout your life, I'm sure.
Well, they were in radio,
Okay.
and my dad was 65 when I was adopted. My mum was 47.
Wow.
So my dad was actually retired when he came back to the UK. So it was, I mean, sadly he died when I was 23, but he'd been around all my life. So I saw him continually throughout my childhood, which was lovely. And we were very close, and we had a lovely bond. We had a sort of soul bond, so we got each other, and that
Oh,
was great.
it's
Yeah,
magical.
yeah. Because bizarrely, even though my mum was the one that definitely had chosen me and got everything. I got the path, kind of created the path for me. Our relationship could be quite rocky sometimes, and I think she wanted me to be somewhat different than I was. She wanted me to love to play the violin and love to play music and be really academic, and I wanted to go and play hockey, and I wanted to go and draw and paint and be creative. And so yeah, I was a bit of a, was it square peg in a round hole, whatever the people
Mhm.
say. But
I think most of us feel like that at stages in our lives. I still feel like that a lot, like I don't fit in.
yeah, yeah. Apparently that's a star seed trait, apparently. So
Yeah, I've heard that too. It's it's definitely something we all have in common. We're all a little bit strange and we find each other and it feels good.
yeah, absolutely. Feels like coming home.
Exactly.
Mm, yeah.
And
Mm.
how did you find Soulogy, and tell us a bit about your awakening? Like how did you, well, I don't know if you want to call it an awakening, put it in your own words. How did you find your
I
place?
think, yeah, I was trying to think about it last night. I think because there's always been a certain amount of uncertainty in my life, like not knowing exactly where I came from, or um, not looking like the people around me, even in my family. And I think I needed something beyond myself that I could latch onto and feel part of and feel that it was part of me. And so that's where the spirituality came in. I think there there's definitely been times in my life where I was guided away from stuff and protected from stuff. So I feel like there's definitely been a higher power or guides that have stepped in and made sure that I didn't go down that path, or yeah, that this didn't happen, or I didn't make this choice, or this didn't feel right. So yeah, that was
Yeah,
good.
they do tend to do that. They give you signs, and whether you choose to follow them is of your own doing. And sometimes they're loud and sometimes they're quiet. Well, that's how I feel in my life.
Yeah, yeah, because it can be. They could be. Yeah, there have been times where they've been shouting in my ears, yeah,
Sometimes I think that they're all going like this, like, oh no.
yeah. But they're wonderful, aren't they? They never give up.
They
They
never
never,
give up. They
yeah. No
they
matter how much we fuck up, they don't give up.
hmm. No,
Yeah,
I think that it's wonderful that we know that they exist, that we're at the point that we know we're not alone in our decisions and we do have outside guidance and strength.
yeah. Because it can get pretty crunchy down here, can't it? It can get pretty,
Mhm.
um, yeah, like being a ship in the middle of the ocean, and it's always like there seems to be a storm on, yeah, all the time. But from time to time, then it goes quiet, and then it goes nice and peaceful, and then there's a nice beach and yeah,
I,
desert island.
I wonder if it'll ever change from that. I think this is the learning planet and it's an
Yeah,
education down here, and that's what we signed up for.
yeah, I think so too. Yeah, yeah. I was hearing a channeling the other day, and then the information came through that we're really lucky to be here,
Mhm.
and a lot of beings in the universe are like they're queuing up to be here, and because they want that experience of being human, and that it's not perfect and it's really hard, and sometimes it's joyous, sometimes it's shit, sometimes it's like, yeah, they just horrible. But to have all those experiences in one, and just have all, and also have your mind trick you out of everything, and then having to learn to come into the body and into the heart and be present and not be living in the past or the future, or yeah, living in something.
Opportunity to level up all the time. Every day presents new opportunities to level up.
Yes, or level down.
Or level down, and then you
Yeah,
look at it and like, oh no.
yeah, yeah. But yeah. So yeah, that hearing that information helped me. I mean, it's always a learning thing, isn't it? But it is like at my darkest times that happen all the time. It's just like, and my lightest times happen all the time. But it makes me feel like, yeah, it's good to be here. I signed up for this.
Yeah, we did sign up for this.
Yeah,
I'm really grateful that you found me.
yeah, me
I put
too.
myself out there, and
Yeah,
you came and found me, which was an interesting experience.
and it's so funny because when I contacted you a little bit after your show came out with Todd in March, and I wrote it from my email that I thought was working okay. And then as it progressed, I realised that people weren't getting emails from that address, and it was like 3 months later, I think. And then I thought I'll just send it from my other email and see what happens. And you responded immediately, and that was lovely.
Yeah, it's lovely to, I think anyone who goes out on Soulogy has the same feeling. It's scary telling your story and
Yeah,
putting yourself out there, but when you do, you never know who it's going to affect and who's going to come into your life. And I'm grateful for all the connections. And
absolutely,
when you get that email and someone sees you for who you are and what you're trying to do, it's that old saying, if you can just touch one person, you've done a good job.
absolutely, yeah, yeah. And I think I mean, I've just been so fascinated with the film industry, and I just feel so connected to film and storytelling. And it's not a perhaps traditional holistic healing tool, but in a way it is, because storytelling is so healing. And we go to the cinema and we have these experiences of where we go through the journey that a character is on. We see the world through their eyes, and then at the end they're changed in some way, usually for the better, and then perhaps we're changed in some way, perhaps for the better. So I think film is an incredible healing and spiritual medium. And
I also love the fact that we can watch a movie and admire the dragons and the fairies and all the fairy tales. But when we see someone on a channeling or who has their show explaining all of it,
I know, yeah, it's almost like,
where do
yeah,
you think people come up with this stuff and see it? Because it exists somewhere. People have tapped into it, into the magic. We've
yeah,
put up a construct to make it very, very hard to get there. Children find it so easy to see things because they haven't yet had anything pulled over their eyes to make them stop seeing it.
they're so new, and they're so close to it. Yeah, it's I I see that in my daughter's school. They have this thing called News Round, which is basically news for children, and
Okay.
they do it in her school, in her primary school, and it's part of their day, and they need to watch it. And I have a problem with that because it's the BBC, and it's the BBC's cast of propaganda in sort of small bite-sized pieces that children can,
Thoughts.
yes, yeah. So which is, it's a bit sinister, really, I think, because it's programming them for the fake world, as I call it. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I can
Yeah.
I can see that. I'm sure your daughter is far wiser than most of the children she is around because of the influence you have on her and the beauty in the world too. She doesn't see all of that rubbish.
I think that's the thing. I know I can't protect her from all of that. I can't sort of keep her in a bubble and just say, oh, the world's perfect and this is where you came from and this is your beautiful, like, manifestation of your life. The world isn't like that. There's stuff she's going to come into contact with and she's going to have to deal with. And if some of that does come from school, then that's a good thing, because it is at least somewhat of a protective environment. So and I'd rather she go into it with an open mind and an open heart, and know that not everything just I open mind, as in also with a pinch of salt, because don't take everything that as gospel. See, know what your truth is, run it by yourself. Yeah.
It's beautiful, beautiful way to put it. I
And
think,
I have to make sure I
yeah,
don't, yeah.
we all have to follow our truths.
Absolutely, yeah. And I have to make sure I don't hammer it home too much to her, because as a typical child, she will rail against that,
Oh.
because yeah, she doesn't want to take everything on board that I say, because yeah. And she's got to
Hard
have
to
her own
listen to
mind.
your parents.
Yeah,
It's hard. You always think you know better, and some of the lessons were great. Some of them I still disagree with. Some of them I'm still like, oh, nope.
yep,
But some of them were important, and I should have probably been a little bit less rebellious and a little bit more open-hearted.
yeah. I feel that myself as well. Yeah, yeah. Because I think they had our best interests at heart. Did you feel that as well? Your
Yeah, but
parents?
there was no manual to parenting.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think I wasn't an easy child. I was a horrific teenager.
Mm, me too. I didn't do any of the things I should do. I even stopped going to school, and they still they still accepted me.
I do think of the craziness that I did bring into our house, and I mean, I was bringing home things that people would not normally accept, and I was helped along the way. My parents did try the best that they could,
Yeah,
and it was my own choice and my own path. And I found my voice and myself eventually. It took a little bit longer than most people. I think I had to take a few forks in the road to get to a place where I felt comfortable. But you do,
yeah,
you eventually, I'm still learning every day, hugely.
me too. Gosh, yeah,
But it's good to know that it's just part of the journey. I'm taking things a little bit less seriously too. Like, okay, well, nothing has to happen the way you planned it, because planning doesn't work in this energy. Well, it hasn't worked for me. Taking 3D stuff and trying to plug it into 5D is a mess.
I know. When they're sort of saying about businesses, like have your 5-year plan and yeah, see where you want to be and work backwards from there. It's like, yeah, no, that's not going to work.
No, and with things manifesting so fast, I think intention is more powerful than
Yeah,
anything. If you've got the right intention and your heart's in the right place, the right things will be drawn to you and
absolutely. Yeah, and
will manifest.
speed have, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I suppose with my awakening, it was I met a good friend called Vicky, who sadly I'm not in touch with anymore. I hope she's okay, because she ended up having some mental health problems and went into the mental health uh, system. So, but she was a lovely friend, and she was very spiritual, and she brought that out to me, and we used to have these long talks about aliens and guides. She was really in touch with her guides, and it was that really awakened that part of me, and it was really um I wrote a piece in there. I mean, I've just got a paragraph that I could read out just about what it was like growing up, I suppose. So I grew up in a predominantly white areas, and went to schools where I was amongst a handful of children from minority ethnic backgrounds. Even though my adoptive mum is Chinese, race was seldom discussed at home. I grew up hoping that everyone saw me as white. I suffered name calling at school. I tried and succeeded in tuning it out, but in doing so managed to tune myself out, crushing my spirit in the process. I became very introverted and shy. Racism was not a daily occurrence, but when it happened, it was brutally hurtful, and it was hard for me not to internalize negativity at a deep level. a lot of my energy was taken up completely denying any kind of Asianness or otherness about myself. Fantasies of blonde hair and blue eyes abounded in my head and resulted in me purchasing skin lightening cream as a teenager. Yeah, so which I've only used a few times. I think I inherently knew that was a really bad thing to put bleach on your skin, but yeah.
Wow, so you take something like you've just read, which is so powerful about how you saw yourself and the struggles that it is growing up being different.
Sure.
You do want to fit in. We all want to fit in. And then you try, and then sometimes it just feels so wrong. No matter how much you try and change yourself to fit into a situation, you just know that it's not the right thing for you. I spent a lot of my life doing the same thing. I came from a beautiful Orthodox Jewish background. I went to a Jewish day school, which I decided to leave because I didn't feel comfortable in my religion after an experience I had with an entity. And I sought help from a rabbi, and the rabbi didn't help me. I got help from a priest.
Okay.
Very young, and he knew my faith, and he sat me down and explained to me what had happened and what I was bringing into my sphere.
Wow.
It was the first time ever that I really knew. It was like, there's so much more to this than what people are telling me.
Did the
And
rabbi not believe you, or
he
wanted to
did. He just, I don't think he was expecting something like that in his world.
Sure.
And I don't know if he could have, I don't think he could handle it. So I don't resent him for it. It was the right path for me to look outside of my religion and explore other things. And it set a course for me to rebel hugely and not fit in. So I left that school and I went to a school where everything was different. And for the first time, I woke up in the morning and I was excited to go to school because there were people of every race, denomination, everything in one place, and it was fun. It's like, I don't have to be this cookie cut version of what everyone's been telling me my whole life. I can see all the differences and I can embrace them, and it was wonderful.
Definitely the right move. Yeah.
Much to my parents' dismay, there was a huge
really
war over it. Yeah, they wanted me to have that good Jewish education.
So I lived in Stamford Hill in London for a bit, and then there's a huge Jewish Orthodox community there, and they're really strict. Was your family and religion that strict? I mean, as in the girls get married at 13, 14?
No, I don't come from that. I come from a much more modern version.
Okay, sure.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
That would have really turned out badly for me.
There was in costumes, the women wear wigs.
Oh no, not Handmaid's Tale kind of stuff, Ros. No. But we did go to shul. There was prayers every morning. You went to shul, and there's so much beauty in every religion, which is kind of the point, is that religion is a construct, and there's beautiful things in all of it.
Yeah.
A lot of them cross over, and as you explore more, it's all about the same concepts. And unfortunately, man writes these things down, and we put in our own codes and our own opinions, and people latch onto that. And how many times has the Bible been rewritten, or books been rewritten, or plays? Everything is infused with different codes from different people.
We seem to like barriers and rules and regulations and writing them into sacred texts, don't we? And wanting people to follow that and go within those parameters, but not beyond them.
Only go that far.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yes. Yeah. And you can't have the wisdom from God, because that's got to come from somewhere. Someone
more important than you will tell you how that works when you're ready. Yeah, it's so messed up.
It is, it is. Yeah, but I like what you said about there's still good stuff in religion too.
There's
There's
beautiful things,
yeah, yeah.
really beautiful things that I still appreciate. And it's actually yesterday was Rosh Hashanah, which is Jewish New Year,
Mm.
and my family group was going wild with memes.
Yeah,
Everyone wishing each other well is a beautiful thing. Even if
yeah.
you're not celebrating it to the same degree that they are, it's still a moment where you take out of time to wish someone good.
A moment of joy and
Hmm.
well-being. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My Chinese family that I'm seeing today, it's my cousin and his family, and then obviously they celebrate Chinese New Year. So I'm thinking they haven't been a huge presence in my life, but they're becoming more present in my life, and I think that's for a reason. And his daughters are studying in London, and they come around from time to time, and it's really nice. And yeah, because I don't know if I spoke about this before, but I had pretty much a 3 year kind of break from my family. It wasn't really a of my own uh, wanting. It was well the last 3 years of like from 2020 to 2023 because of I suppose we can talk freely, but because I was researching a lot of things, and I'm not that into like the whole medical establishment anyway. I don't think they've got our best interests at heart. So of course I was suspicious when they started putting down all these mandates, and I started researching that, and I could see it really wasn't a good thing to be taking or to be made to be taking. So and I think in the UK we have been lucky. We even though they brought in the jab, I think we were one of the first countries in the world to have it or to have it available, and they were pushing it hard. Every radio station, every TV station was saying, yeah, you've got to go out. You need to protect your family. You need to protect your vulnerable older people and your younger people. And I can be quite stubborn, and I just like the more they said that, the more I dug my heels in. And I definitely wasn't going to do it anyway. And I was just like, why are they telling us to do this? Why are they so adamant that we should do this thing that is, and why is everybody believing it's okay and it's safe? And I was quite open with people close to me that I hadn't had it, and with friends were okay, they'd had it, but with some friendships it was a little bit like, okay, so maybe I'm not gonna hug you anymore, that kind of thing. And there I could tell there was a bit of a
Very.
barrier come down. Yes. And it's not nice to be thought of as a toxic kind of um, weapon. So yeah, and I mean, I discussed it with people about telling my family, and some people were like, "You don't need to tell them," but I was like, "No, I need to tell them. I need to say this is the decision I've made and that my family have made." And yeah, we got banned from family occasions and family meetings, gatherings. Yeah, and we're now allowed back into the fold, which is nice. Yeah, sadly, my sister-in-law passed away. She was very medically vulnerable, so I can see in some ways they believe the hype. They were her and my brother were doing it for the best intentions, I guess. And yeah, I mean, sadly, it didn't work out for her anyway. I mean, she was
Fear-based, the fear-based program is a very powerful program. And
so
depending on
powerful.
where you are at that point when it comes into your field, you will react or not. And I don't judge anyone for any of those decisions that they made because those
Yeah,
are personal decisions. But I know that things have changed in our friendships too from it. We had a close friend who I've known my whole life who lives not even a 3-minute drive away, told me that we could chat on Zoom for the rest of our lives. And I was like,
Oh
no,
well, no, no.
happen. This is just
Yeah.
crazy. So
And they feel like they're doing you a favor, don't they? They feel like they're like, well, I'm not going to push you out of my life, but oh, I don't know if that's how your friend felt, but or how the relationship felt. But I felt that with friends that they're like, well, I'll still allow you in my life, but not as we were.
and now that things have changed and there's so much that has come into view in the world, people are openly ignoring what we went through, and the PTSD from the 3 years that we have experienced globally
Yeah,
affects all of us. So just pretending that it didn't happen and going back to life as usual is, I don't know, it's not viable in my opinion. Things needed to change and things are changing, and I'm on the human path of let's do this and let's change things for the better. We've
yeah,
we've been in the shit, and if you didn't see the silver lining of the world and how humans can come together in beautiful stressful situations, then you missed out on some of the lesson, and we need to make things better. So we've been given an opportunity to just stay here, and I don't know where everyone else is at in their path, and it's not my journey.
yeah.
I'm loving being on this path and finding people like you to help create better spaces and better environments for the future, or at least start the discussions about them so that they can
Absolutely.
be planned with a bit more authenticity and a better mind frame.
There's no map, is there? We don't know where we're going. It's uncharted territory, which is
And the only thing that's certain
terrifying.
is death at some stage.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's not a soul death, it's just a body death.
yeah.
Then we get to pick what we do next.
Absolutely. But I think it's very a relevant time. Well, it's the most important time in the whole of humanity's history to be here. And yeah, I honor our choice and to be here at this time. It's just, yeah, it's important. It feels like it's a big one. This is the big one.
It is the big one, and it's that choice point of going back or going forward. And both paths take you to completely different destinations. And I'm looking forward to taking the road less traveled and paving the way for people to have a better experience of film in the future. Because
Absolutely.
that's the goal. And it's not because of anything personal, but I guess it is all personal actually. That's
Yeah.
right. It's all personal. I love creating and I love movies, and I want to see it done in a better way. So that's a personal journey that I'm taking with other beautiful people like you, that we can co-create together and make it work for all, not just for the few.
Do you feel like it's been in the film industry that it's been there's this thing that it's a privilege to work for it, so thereby you need to be owned by it, and they or it can say that you have to work under these conditions because everybody else wants to do your job. And if you don't do it, somebody else will come in and do it and work 18-hour days and not see their family and not have a life outside work. It's a real, yeah, it's a real controlling thing, isn't it?
It is a real controlling thing, and I do think there's a difference between boundaries and rules. I think that there have to be parameters for people to play in, otherwise nothing will get done.
Yeah, yeah,
So there needs to be a playground where people are happy and everyone is heard, but there needs to be goals so that people know when things need to happen by. Because we can all be creative and run around doing things consistently and carry on creating, but it's not going to go anywhere. It needs to be channeled into the right place.
there needs to be a cool time. There needs to be like,
Yes, those
"Hey,
things
stop now."
exist. You can't just pitch up when you want to pitch up or do things when you want, it's a team effort.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, it's not going to work if the director doesn't want to come in that day.
I don't feel like it today.
Yeah, it's okay. We can reschedule. Yeah, we have like 100 people who are here.
Okay, no.
Yeah,
But that's going to come from a different place of respecting each other.
yeah.
So we're
That's
all
true.
here for a common goal and to do things differently, but everyone needs to respect each other more. So that's from the bottom to the top. The people who are arriving early and setting up, to the people who are doing coffee and setting up cameras and pinning costumes, doing makeup, handing out call sheets. Everyone is as important because it's all part of a beautiful network that weaves together to create. And I
Yeah.
think that that's been forgotten, that people are so tired that they don't remember each other's values or look at
No, I
each.
think it's all putting the film on a pedestal, and then it's all about getting the shots in the can. It's all about we have to make sure we have these scenes done, and it doesn't matter if we have casualties along the way, because it's all about making the schedule, being on time, and then if somebody gets shouted at or basically, yeah, I suppose dehumanized, because it's just like, just suck it up and get on with it, and I don't care if you've got hurt feelings, you still have to do your job, and that's why I think it shouldn't be like that.
I mean, do you feel like you can be creative with all the boundaries that are put in place currently? What would you try and eliminate to feel more creative and
I
con-
certainly feel I can be with writing, because nobody's standing over me telling me it's got to be done there in this way. But I definitely feel like I can with pre-production, because you can plan stuff, and pretty much it is as the better, the more you plan, the more smoothly it will go. I mean, on set though, I suppose there is this whole engine machine that's like going and galloping at 100 miles an hour, and it's almost like you just have to jump on, or you fall off and you fall by the wayside and you can't get back on,
so with
I
this
think
new model that we're trying to put out there, and we've spoken about it privately, to introduce crew and give them an opportunity to be part of the making of and showing their departments and giving them time before, do you think that's going to improve time on set? Because there will be a lead up. So it's a long process. It's a longer process. But for the people who are going to follow the journey, it's going to be incredible.
well, definitely,
We're going to
yeah,
get to know all the people behind the scenes in little bubbles and then
yeah,
watch them make this, and then there will be a final product. So it's like
that's
the most enormous Russian doll concept for film.
that everyone has had a part of, yeah,
Yeah,
and put good energy into,
exactly. And if the
not
energy
survival
does go
energy.
off along the way, there will be people to align it.
Yeah, yeah, because in the research I've been doing about bullying in the film industry, that it does seem that when people speak out, firstly, people are scared of speaking out because they're worried that they're going to get sacked and for rocking the boat. Secondly, when they speak out, there's actually no structure put in place for people to for complaints to be taken seriously. It's all, no, we've got to get on. There's no time for this. We've
You
just
just
got to get
become
on.
a problem. You become a
Yeah,
problem in the
yeah,
system.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. You become a
Nobody
liability.
wants that.
No, no.
But in that way, that's how I lost my voice.
Mm,
Is I didn't speak up for so long, and eventually my body showed me all the signs of rejecting the industry, and I cracked on a terrible set in the middle of the desert where my body was just like, you are not going to set today. You will have a heart attack. And I got sent off, and everything carried on without me, even though I was the head of department.
right.
everything still carried on beautifully. I was just not part of it, and it was a awakening moment of many. Of okay, what am I going to do differently now? Do I still want to be part of this, and in what way do I want to give my time and my energy?
And I remember you talking about it, and you were saying that people in your department were getting mistreated, basically because
Yes, they were threatening to pull the plug on the
yeah,
whole production if two of my assistants didn't go and iron a shirt 2 hours away.
yeah,
So I got feisty, and they still went and ironed the shirt because the production begged, and they were exhausted and I was exhausted, and things came together later on. But on that set, I knew, and I was open about it. I will never work with you again,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
will never do this again in this way because it's not right. And I see it from both sides. When you step away from it, I see that the production that I was on, this was a beautiful opportunity for them, and they were doing everything within their power to get it right. But they forgot the human aspect. And for someone who is sensitive to energy, all I could think about was those two beautiful crew members that I loved dearly were so tired, and if they died on the road, that was me. That was
yeah.
on me.
I really think that somebody in that hotel would have been able to iron a shirt. I mean,
Sense. It was such bullshit.
yeah, yeah,
And if you talk to any person who's been on a set, these are incidents that happen every day, but most people don't talk about it.
and
So
there's quite often somebody who's feeling left out or not part of it, and then it's just like sitting there in a corner, but just getting on with the job. But you can tell they're counting down the hours so they can walk away, or it's going to end. And yeah, it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be
no,
like
but with
you have to like knuckle it through.
respect to producers and the process it takes to get these jobs through the door and the budgets they've been given and the time constraints that they have to work towards, sometimes bad decisions do get made, and they are not always in that seat of power that they show that they are.
Right.
So you can play the blame game all you like,
Yeah.
but it needs to change from the core of it to put the right energy in from the beginning. And I'm not 100% sure how that's going to work. It's developing all the time, and it's exciting. It's exciting to know that there's other people out there that want it to be better, because it's phenomenal when it's magical.
It's creating dreams, isn't it? It's
It is.
yeah, it's and worlds and experiences and yeah, galaxies far, far away that remind us of home. And it's, yeah,
So it will start when it's ready to. One thing that I'm learning along this is, same as I said earlier, you can't plug 3D into 5D. So the beautiful script and the vision I had for that script is going to change phenomenally in the next few months because it has to. So what I was doing, channeling a lot of those characters and using scenarios that I had witnessed, now needs to be better thought out for the energy and the work that it needs to do in the world.
yeah, it's that's with the story structure, I suppose it's all quite internalized within us that we watch something and the codes are already in there, and then the structure within the structure itself as well, and the drama is within the codes. And
Yeah.
otherwise it's watching. Even reality TV has like, they want drama, they want
Reality
people.
TV is the most triggering for me.
Said it.
Reality TV is the most triggering.
Oh, it's so manipulated, isn't it? It's so,
Oh
yeah,
man. And how they
it's
put
so
people
unreal.
into those scenarios, and it's live. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
You're brave. You're really brave.
yeah. Well, they're kind of getting abused, like emotionally, like on camera, aren't they? It's not behind the camera, it's actually on camera. So yeah, I used to watch all those things, the Kardashians, etc., but I can't watch them now. I'm just like, no.
No, I don't watch as much TV as I used to, and maybe that's because I spend so much time online.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
watch recommended series and movies from friends because instead of trying different things all the time, I know what I like and they know what I like, so I take
mm,
those on board.
yeah. No, me too. And I went to see the Barbie movie,
Those-
and yeah, it's awesome and so unexpectedly awesome, which is great. I went for my daughter, who's 8, and ended up just enjoying all the subtext and the way it was layered, and it was something. It was like that was the cinema experience. That was everybody. The shows were sold out. There was one cinema was having 22 showings a day, and we were trying to get seats, and the seats were getting booked up as we were trying to buy them, and it was great. That's how it should be. I remember going to see films when I was younger and would be queuing around the block, and it was just like, yeah, that's
Interesting that Oppenheimer and Barbie were released the same weekend.
I know it's definitely like opposite polarities. You would have thought.
Mhm.
Yeah, I haven't seen Oppenheimer. I mean,
No, me neither. I do think Cillian Murphy is a phenomenal actor.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad he's being recognised finally because he's not
Yeah, I'm a big
up
Peaky.
and coming for a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Peaky Blinders was
Oh
life-changing.
yeah.
Mm.
Right.
The costumes in that, I mean, come on, let's just like swoon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful.
Oh. Yeah. I haven't watched it, but I've seen some of the setups and
Oh,
yeah,
you
like
have to.
boxing and yeah, yeah.
No, they are super cool. Do you want to talk at all about your movie that you're doing other than Seamless? Do you want to speak about that at all?
Yeah.
Written with intention?
Yeah. I've written 2 film scripts, and one is sitting in the shelf in Canada at the moment. I was pushing it up the hill with some producers for since 2016, and it's there. It's might come off the shelf at some point, but then I realized I was giving my power away a lot. I wasn't it was really exciting to be able to see inside the industry, and some we had a great casting director. She was getting it to some exciting actors, and I was like just getting I think I just got I was in a swoon. That's not the right word. About the whole thing. I was just like in a spell, and I just had to wake up and think, look, no, come on, if you want to actually be a person who's going to make a film and not be a person who's just going to say that they're making a film. I mean, my friends have been asking me about my film for so many years that they kind of stopped asking now, because they're like, well, I don't really care anymore. She hasn't done it. So with this one, my
Yeah.
new one, which is called New Earth, I'm going to make it next year. It's going to be micro budget, but I'm going to direct it. I've written it. I'm going to direct it, and I'm going to steering it, I suppose. So yeah, and it's really about my experiences of particularly 2020, going online. I suppose having a sort of second awakening, sort of the more red pill awakening, if you like, about how the world works, or certain
Yeah.
structures in the world have worked and have and are controlling us. And it's a thriller, and it's about a woman searching for her abducted daughter, set in the near future, and everything has been sort of a barrier to her finding her daughter. But of course, she's a mum and she's not going to give up. And finally, she's found a place where she thinks her daughter might be, and she's got to find her and find out what's been happening to her. And there are all sorts of medical experiments, and it's a bit of a
Script.
warning, I suppose, about where we could head if we don't come off this path. we don't take the wheels off this rapidly speeding away train, and we need to go the other way and bring in a new Earth. But it's New Earth, it's all one word, so it's incorrectly spelt, and that's on purpose because I want it to be, it's New Earth, but it's not the New Earth that we want and need. And then at the end they move into New Earth. So
Awesome.
possibility of that.
I've read the script, it's really good.
Oh, thank
I
you.
loved it.
Thank you. It's changing somewhat because I've got to make it on a micro budget, but all the elements are still going to be in place.
And I'm sure by that time we'll have a lot of structures in place through working together, that it will be run differently and be one of the showcases of trying this stuff out.
It'll be very exciting.
Yeah.
Mm.
So just to explain to everyone how I see the film structure, and I've discussed this with people on my other project, which was an amazing learning experience, and that one's also shelved at this point because of time and timing. So a normal film production would be classified as a level 1 production, like entertainment, all of the above entertainment stature.
You froze a bit there, so level 1 production.
Level 1 would be entertainment. Level
okay, you froze a bit
there. I don't know why.
You froze a bit there when you said level.
Interesting. Okay.
Just say level 1 again.
Level 1?
Yeah. I know.
Good. So level 1 would be entertainment. Level 2 is documentaries and edutainment, which is a lot of the stuff that we see on TV. So you can see both of those through streaming networks from the past and the present. And level 3 would be integrating into transmedia storytelling, which is taking entertainment, education, and the whole momentum of the project further into the realm of creativity and creation. So it's taking things that are, some of it is scripted, some of it is not scripted, and mixing it on different networks between television, streaming, and bringing people from the public into a lot of the spheres. So if you are working on a project, open up the opportunity for people to come in and work with you. So it's an interactive way of redesigning this blueprint to make people feel that they are more welcome and have more opportunity, because film has been quite a closed network. And not to say that it's going to suit everyone, but if someone does want to come and try, they will be able to be filtered in easier and to be educated on how it works by showing the departments as we're growing in pre-production, showing specific things that people can get a handle on in their minds of what goes into this beautiful magical machine that is a production and a film, that it's not just the hour that you are encapsulated on your couch or in a cinema watching it. It's following the journey.
I just had a thought of like, it's like bringing the credits alive. You know, when the
very much.
Everybody leaves the cinema, and I like to stay and just honor those people that worked on it.
Yes, it's an energetic thank you to watch the credits.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at speaking about it. I believe in showing, not just talking about things. So it's all going to be put in motion, because people can talk the hind legs off a donkey in any situation, but until you actually start making these things and start putting the energy into it, that's where the flow comes, and that's where the beauty is put out into this universe. So that's how it's going to go. And I'm very grateful that we're on Soulogy, that Todd has given us a place to expand and to filter this energy in a positive way. And if anyone wants to get hold of me and find out more, you are more than welcome to email me. It's glynnisro@gmail.com, and I will answer any questions. I also have a website, www.glynnis.coza, because I'm in South Africa. So it's .co.za. And even better than that, sign up to Soulogy Network and follow our journey, because we only on social media every couple of shows, but weekly we are getting together and making magic in our own way. So if you are keen to follow this on a more full-time basis, you can interact on the platform and be part of it.
The new storytelling, isn't it? It's the new, yeah, universe building. But and also I think with like maybe Hollywood and the way that structures are breaking down and the strikes, and yeah, there's something that's going to come out of this. And this is an amazing opportunity to do that. And thank you for the opportunity to.
Oh,
I
no,
really
I
appreciate
love
it.
having you as part of my team. You are a blessing, and you've turned into a wonderful friend.
Oh, you too.
What more could you ask for, to work with people who have the same vision towards the same goal?
Yeah,
Very lucky.
absolutely.
So that's it from me. Is there anything you would like to add, Roz?
I don't think so. I think, yeah, just come and play.
Yeah, that would be,
Yeah.
yeah, come join us. Come be part of
Mm,
it. We're awkward and we're fun, and sometimes
mm,
we don't know what we're doing, but a lot of the time we
mm.
try. We
Yeah.
always try.
Yes.
And Roz has the best dress up outfits. I'm going to raid her
Oh,
closet when I go to England.
I have really enjoyed that. I have a lot of things I don't wear, and it's just been an opportunity to do that. So, yeah.
The
Brilliant.
costume designer in me loves that. It gets so exciting the day before. It's like, what will Roz arrive wearing for the reading?
Oh, it's been such fun.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Yeah, thank you. Take care. Ooh, so showing up. Yeah.